Hey guys, it's Graham. Welcome back to another book review from Truckerman Reads. Today's review is Behind the Veil, Book 3 of Transdimensional Hunter by Lydia Scherer and John Ringo. I hope I said her name right. We'll see. I did a video out in the shop that covered, I believe, the first two books in this series, and I mentioned it last week when I talked about what I was going to get to. I was having glitches with Speechify, so I was having trouble listening to it last week, and then I didn't really feel like forcing myself to finish listening to any audiobooks out over the road after Wednesday happened. So it took me a while to get to this one, but I finally knocked out like 95% of it today. I had started it before, but then I got onto it, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to listen to this and get an audiobook done, feel like I'm accomplishing something, and read something that I've been looking forward to for the last couple of years. This series, like I said, it's set in the distant future, maybe the not too distant future. I'm blanking on what the exact year is, but they refer to the 2020s as, back then. But things are still generally like they are now, at least in terms of geopolitics. Technology is a little bit more advanced. You've got more immersive video gaming setups. Our main character is a 16-year-old girl named Lynn Raven. She lives in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, with her mom, who is a widow. Her dad died when Lynn was only 9. Was she 9 or was she 7? It's been 9 years. He got mugged and killed, and so Lynn's grown up kind of being reclusive, but she got into gaming and she got really, really good at gaming. In fact, she's secretly this super awesome player under the moniker of Larry Coughlin. She says that he's a black ops, spec ops, that kind of guy, a dude who's done actual dangerous warfare, and that's how he learns, or that's how he knows how to be such a dangerous gamer. And she had to spend a lot of time in servers studying how actual veterans talk so she can get the lingo down. Nobody knows that she's secretly, Larry, and she doesn't want anybody to know. That character, that identity, hasn't come into play too much in the actual effects of the story, other than like it got Lynn Raven into an early, like a beta version of Transdimensional Hunter, this new immersive video game, and she gets really good at it, and she's got to navigate rising popularity with her team of fellow gamers, while also quarreling with other teams that are more popular but not as good. Like it's a coming of age story. It's a bit of a teen sci-fi story. It's got a lot of elements that are familiar, but they're arranged in such a way that when I'm sitting here reading it, I'm like, this is good. Like, I want to keep reading. I never get bored of it or put it down. It's just like, this is flowing. This is carrying me along. I like where it's going. I like how it feels. I like the lessons that we're learning from it. The first book was really long. The second and third are a little bit more evened out. And so the Scherer and Ringo are getting the pacing nailed down. I thought it was going to be a trilogy, but the way this one ends, it says that the final book is going to be the fourth one, which I'm fine with. What's the general plot of this one? It's a continuation and an escalation of the pieces that have been set up before it. It's kind of a mix of The Last Starfighter and Ender's Game, just with video games in the 21st century. The gist of it is that there are actual transdimensional monsters that are invisible and that are attracted to electricity and stuff. And the governments of the world don't want to unleash another COVID-19 style panic on the world. So they develop this video game technology that people can use to fight TDMs in the real world. And then they launch it as a video game. They haven't yet spilled the beans to the world to say, like, hey, this is what we're really up against. They haven't even spilled the beans to the gamers. But with how this third book ends and what it's going to lead into in the fourth, you can tell it's coming, and it's coming soon. In fact, there's a very big development where the status quo gets bucked at the end of the third book. I won't spoil what it is, but it's like, okay, that part of it is going to finally get addressed. We're going to pull the mask off, and the gamers at least are going to find out what's really going on, but there are going to be massive costs and ramifications to that. I've enjoyed the real world portrayal of like the hazards of fame, especially internet fame, and especially for, we'll say, like an introverted female main character. I've got a daughter, and like I said in my video of the last couple of books, like this is a book that I would read with her when she gets older, so that I can use it as like a illustrative lesson of being like, hey, if you ever decide that you want to get famous on the internet, you can absolutely expect to deal with problems like this. You're just going to randomly have haters. You're going to have people that try to cling on and clout chase and grift off of you. And if you ever want to enjoy your privacy or your anonymity, especially as a girl, and she's got those Bradley genes, she's going to be attractive. If you want to be a girl on the internet, you're going to have to prepare for the hazards of that. And that especially rears its head in this third book, as Lynn Raven, the main character, I probably already said that, she gets doxxed, and she ends up with a stalker, and the stalker is really creepy, and his name is Gupta Gupta Gupti, and he smells like curry, and he stinks, and he attacks her at one point, and then she and her gamer bros, they set a honey trap for him, and he thinks that he's gonna touch the bobs and vagine, and instead he gets a face full of bear mace. Like, that whole part was satisfying, but it wasn't just there to be an anecdote of satisfaction. There are other problems that she's dealing with that all have to do with her rising fame and the fact that she don't know she's beautiful, and so on and so forth. But all of this stuff, you find out near the end, is being orchestrated by one guy in particular who's trying to throw her off her game. He still thinks the game is a game, and he's trying to throw all this stuff at her so that she sucks at the competitions, and he beats her. And like, it's all complicated, it's all intertwined. It handles everything that it's supposed to very well. If there's a flaw with this series, I will probably say that it's with the prose. Sometimes, whether it's the dialogue or the narrative, it feels like it's overwritten. You can write things in such a way that you're trying to over-explain things to the readers. I think that's just a symptom of us living in the hypercritical culture that we're in. You're trying to write something to fend off arguments that you expect people to make, and you do that at the expense of good pacing and tight writing. You can just let people read something at the pace that it needs to flow at, and then if people are going to be like, oh, you should have explained this, or what about this, what about that? Like, what if you just daydream and figure it out yourself and let the story happen? That's a larger complaint that I have about our critical consumption culture by and large, but I know I'm just saying words over and over again. I'm sorry. Did I mention that it's 100 degrees and my brain is cooked? Anyway, I've enjoyed this series so much. The first one was long and it was slow in parts. The last two have been better on the pacing front and the quicker developments, and I like the characters. They're wholesome. It's easy to root for them. The side characters and stuff, they're going through their own growth arcs. They've got their own challenges to deal with. It's doing everything that it should, and it's doing it well because I am enjoying it, and I think you will too. So check out the TransDimensional Hunter books. Third one just dropped, and it's great. Content warning for profanity, but only up to the S word. There's not a whole lot more besides that. And there is one scene. There's a plot development where somebody generates a deep fake porno of Lynn Raven. It's one of those things that gets circulated to throw her off her game, and it's really distressing to her. That's in like the first act of the book, and it gets some callbacks to it later on. Just again, like, illustrative of the kind of problems that attractive women face on the internet. It's not something that I endorse, but if you were going to do a semi-realistic portrayal of the world that we live in, I think it was an issue worth tackling, and I thought that the way that Scherer and Ringo handled it in the book was done well. So Once again, check out this series. I thoroughly enjoy it. I'll grab the paperbacks eventually. Drive safe. See you out there.